All right, here's another episode of Dave's Garage. I'm Dave, and I have a garage. So today we're doing the Chinese scooter edition of Dave's Garage. Not the normal caliber of vehicle in the garage, but we're going to put a new carburetor on this thing, get rid of the air box. What else we got? Air filters, which are over there, oiled, ready to go. Use the one with the blue paper filament. The other one that just has mesh, I'm not even sure there's actually a filament in there. And a new CDI box, new ignition coil. We're going to see if we can make this thing quicker. So, yeah. So that's Robert. Say hi, Robert.
Hello. So it came with two?
What's that?
It came with two filters?
Well, one came with the carb and one came with the CDI performance kit. So I would start with this one. This one I just can't tell by looking in there. It's like you can't see through it. So I think there's a filament in there, but I don't know. I'm not 100% sure. I can't actually see through it, but sometimes like they may just put the wire mesh there, which it'll keep it from sucking in a pebble, but it may not actually be like
Dirt.
that. Yeah, you know, sand and whatever, road grit. So we'll start with the other one, and these things are cheap. You can always buy another one that's good. That one I know for sure has the filament in it because I can see it. It's blue. So Robert is my son-in-law. Stepson? I don't know how that works. It's a weird concept for me to say. It took me for years to refer to Sarah as my stepdaughter because it's like I just never had kids. I went to great lengths to not have kids. So it doesn't. It's not part of my normal vocabulary. When I say I took steps, it was always using birth control.
I was telling someone at work, the truck driver yesterday, I said, you know, my stepdad went to great lengths not to have kids, and then it turns out he's pretty good at being a stepdad.
Yeah, I try. Yeah. And by birth control, I mean I gave the girl an option. You can get on your back or on your chin. That's how I rolled. All right. Yeah, so we'll take all this stuff off. So, yeah, so working on these things is actually pretty damn easy. Like, and if you want to swap the motor, you could go buy a 250cc motor for like $500 and just drop it in. It's crazy. So we're going to take off this bucket here, and then the carb and the engine, like everything's going to be right there, which is cool. Yeah, let's get that torn down. So we've got, where's the Boxo stuff?
I said it on
All right. What's in the box? What's in the box? All right, so that's a new high-end precision $30 Amazon carburetor. So we'll see. I mean, people swear by it. They seem to work. So we're not adjusting it. We're going to put it in just stock as you see it. And then it's also got like those 3-prong plugs, spark plugs, although the picture shows a 1-prong. And it came with a new coil. And then there's a new, and you're sure yours is the 5-pin CDI, right? All right. So we have a racing CDI because, you know, people race these. I think they have a class for these at the Isle of Man TT. No, they don't. They use these to get around, is what they do.
And you see the little, places selling them popping up everywhere.
Yeah, there's places all over, and it's like, everyone's like, oh, it's a Chinese scooter. How reliable is it? It's like, well, there's 1.3 billion Chinamen, driving around on these things every day, or in Thailand, Cambodia. I mean, that whole part of the world,
Europe?
with taxes and imports and because of poverty and stuff like that, it's like most of the people, I mean, in China's actually doing pretty well financially, but, as soon as you get out of the cities and stuff, it's like most people can't afford to buy even just a regular car. Like in Vietnam, buying a car, I remember the episode of Top Gear where they had to rent scooters because they went there and they gave them 1.5 million dong. That's their currency, the dong. So, and that only 1.5 million dong was only worth about like $1,000. And they're like, there's no way to like buy a car for that. So they bought scooters, and it was like everybody there has them, like everybody. So they are reliable to that extent.
So really all you need to do this is a 10mm socket. I like to use the extension, but
Yeah.
And for the carb, it won't be nothing like it with a Phillips screwdriver. The
Yeah.
pair of pliers.
Yeah. There's the carburetor.
Right.
So let's just take the whole damn thing off just to give us some extra room. This thing's gonna be totally rad. When you're done, you gotta take it off some sweet jumps. Like Napoleon Dynamite.
Yeah.
This thing could go off some sweet jumps.
I got these two. Yeah.
So we just set this here for a minute.
So you see the air filter I bought, Dave?
Yeah.
Not nearly enough.
Yeah, that's like a breather hose. I had a couple of those, I think, sitting in one of the drawers over there.
Yeah.
How's it going? Puppy? We're working on his scooter, and then, yeah, once the roads dry out.
Yeah. We'll have a good ride.
Yeah, man, see it. I like your LSU floor mats. Hold on.
I made that.
Yeah, so I think between this and all the stickers, you're going to have about 900 horsepower.
At least the rear wheel.
Yeah, at the wheel, of course, not the crank. Look at this thing. So it's like if you need to do a motor swap, it's like it's there. It's just right there. So this is going to be, let's get the air box off first, get that shit out of there. And then it's just connecting vacuum lines. And actually, I mean, if it bolts up to this intake plenum, then we don't need to use the one that came with it.
Right, because I think the diameter of the hose is the same.
Yeah, we'll look at it. I got digital calipers, we'll measure it. And it wouldn't matter because the hole going into the motor is a certain size, so, you know, I think it's going to be the same.
And from what I was reading, that's what the same. It's the same with the exhaust, where it mounts up.
Yeah.
It's like 1.1 inches.
Okay.
The
Yeah.
head size, the head diameter.
Yeah, the exhaust is going to be more for sound and looks and maybe weight reduction than, I don't know how much power you get from a... Again, when you got a motor that only makes like 4 horsepower, 5 horsepower, it's like you do all these mods, you gain 1 horsepower, but that's 20%.
Yeah.
As a percentage, that's significant. So
It's the muffler that's on there is like 6 pounds.
yeah, I mean, yeah, anything you could do that's the biggest thing you could do on a scooter, honestly, because you have so little horsepower to work with. Do what you can to add power, but get rid of anything that does not need to be on there. Just make it light.
Yeah, but then it makes up for the giant cojones you gotta have to go 60 miles an hour down the hill.
Yeah, it doesn't have the same stability that a normal street bike does. But this will get you where you need to go temporarily. And then I think you should go get something like a Rebel 500.
Yeah.
It'll make, instead of 4 horsepower, you'll have 45, 50.
Oh.
Oh yeah, you'd have, no, a Rebel 500 will put out enough power. You could be very comfortable on the freeway with that. It's got a low seat height, so with your leg and stuff, it'll make it easier kind of holding it up than being on your tiptoes on a sport bike. They'll have accessories for it. You'll be able to change handlebars to make it more comfortable. You'll be able to put saddlebags on the side if you want, or hard back, things like that. And that's a bike you could take up to the mountains. You're not going to go riding at a sport bike pace, but I don't know that that's your thing anyway. But you'll be able to go up there and have fun and ride the speed limit and not be holding people up. That or an MT-07. Those would be my my recommendations.
Yeah, the MTO. That's
Yeah, the MT-07 is just a little. So it goes from the MT-10 down to the MT-09, and then the MT-07 is a little parallel twin, 700 something cc's, and makes like 74 horsepower. It's a perfect little street bike. It's a Yamaha, so it'll run forever.
too bad they don't make the 125s out of it. I'd be okay with that, you know.
The only problem I have with those, I mean, if you wanted that, I mean, there are like, there's a naked Z400, the Kawasaki has a 400, and that'll keep the insurance costs down and stuff. You just have to be able to go fast enough to go on the interstate somewhere. Because actually, I mean, what if you wanted to, you know, you want to go down and see Bubba and Dan or something, go down to Florida for a week, throw some bags on the back and a backpack with a couple days worth of clothes and go down there. And you can see, and, you know, there are some back roads, but you got to at least be able to go on the interstate. So you need at least the 400. A 125 or 250 is not going to go out.
Okay.
So we got those screws, and then you got to take the hose off, right?
Yeah, it's a Phillips from the top.
Now go get a Phillips. You go, Fonzie.
Thank you, sir. And on here, at first, remember how I was saying about the long or the short case on here?
Right.
I read that in order to be able to tell, you have these, they have 8 bolts or 10 bolts. 10 bolt is long,
Okay.
8 bolt is short, and it matters for tire size, because on the long case you can put
So the long case is going to have like a longer wheelbase, so that
Yes.
means the front of the tire's further back and it won't hit.
and you can put a 12-inch rim.
Oh, yeah.
And-
The only problem with going up in size rims like that is you change your gearing quite a bit.
Right.
And you're adding more weight, more rotational mass. It's going to eat up more of your horsepower. So you got your horsepower at the crank, and then by the time it goes through the drivetrain losses, there's what you get at the wheel.
Right.
That's going to make it less at the wheel.
What I was looking at it for was to put the taller tire in order to get a little more stability, a bigger tire.
It would definitely help with stability and going over potholes. That was the problem I had in. So like when they had to get bikes in on Top Gear when they were doing the Vietnam special, they had like Hammond and May. They bought like sort of like regular bikes that had like little bit larger tires, and Jeremy had to do 1,100 miles from the entire length of Vietnam, and he did it on a Vespa, a vintage Vespa, which had wheels that big or smaller, and it was horrible. It was so rickety and so like all over the place.
I get it.
And it was every time they told him, they're like, well, you get the bigger tires, it goes over the potholes. You get the little ones, it goes in.
I'm gonna remove this throttle cable.
All right. What was this here for? Was that a?
That was that.
What's in
It goes to that pipe over there. I actually had bypassed it because that was plugged off on that line over there, and this was ran.
So what I think that is basically, that's the crank, because this motor's like on its
So
side.
it takes the exhaust fumes and it passes it through the.
So it was putting.
It filters it.
Does this suck or does this push air out? Because it could be one of two things. The fact that it's oily makes me
It's
wonder.
at the top, so
It actually might be water.
I think it's just like excess exhaust fume or intake fumes.
Yeah, well, what they do, it's called a PAIR or an SAI system, a secondary air injection, and you have them on bikes. And so what it does is it brings in a little bit of fresh air from the airbox into the exhaust manifold, and then from there it helps just clean up the emissions. But they don't really test these things for emissions, so I don't know. The other thing that can be is you have your crankcase, in case there's any blow by from the piston, if there's the rings, over time. that builds a pressure in the crankcase. You don't want to push an oil out through the gaskets.
Right.
So what you do is you get the crankcase breather, is what it's called, where instead of exiting to the atmosphere, it just goes, any of that oily mist goes into the air box, gets sucked into the motor, and just burned up in combustion and goes out the tailpipe. So when you start the motor, we can just feel that and see if it's, I mean, it doesn't feel like oil. That feels, I mean, it's a little oily, but it doesn't feel like motor oil. So that might just be what you're saying. You gotta unhook that thing?
Yeah. It's kind of tricky.
All right.
So
Do you need like needle nose pliers or something, or what?
it probably would come in handy. I have a pair. Okay. Right here.
And if you don't have enough slack, we can just put slack in up at the other end. Cool. That's got to come off.
Oh, it does. Yeah, all the way off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can pull it through. It's all right. We can all readjust all that shit later.
Yeah.
Question. So this is going to have to come off and over that. Oh, there's a. Oh, I didn't see there's a gap. That makes more sense.
Screw.
Just put that on the ground.
Okay.
All right, you got a little breather here. That's just a drain. Doesn't connect to anything. All right, you got the wires for this little box right here. That goes through here.
So we should cut that and just put a new one, or?
Hold on, it's not a zip tie. It's a twist. It's a twist tie, like a loaf of fucking bread.
Oh wow. Well.
All right, so these wires, follow where this goes up underneath. This is going to plug in somewhere up under there. That's the wire. That's your, when you start, it doesn't have an auto choke.
Yeah.
It just, well, it's not really a choke.
Electronic choke is what they call it.
Yeah, all it's really doing is just giving it more gas. It's not actually choking off the air, technically. I read up a little bit on this stuff.
Okay.
We like to be informed here at Dave's Garage. Sometimes. Once in a while.
As needed.
Yeah. And sometimes not even that much. So that goes up to a plug. So all it's doing, it's basically like a stepper motor. So what it's doing when you start it, until it gets up to a certain temperature, it basically just pulls the throttle plates open slightly, like you're giving it a little bit of gas. Whereas a choke actually closes off the airflow a little bit, so that what fuel is there, if you reduce the air, then it becomes richer. Is that some kind of fucking Chinese torture device? What is that shit? Don't do that, you're scratching the frame. Come on, man, pair of wire cutters. Get a pair of dikes. Here's dikes. Diagonal cutters. We don't want people to be upset. He's making fun of lesbians. No, we love lesbians. Well, the hot ones anyway. All right, so what have we done? We've taken the cover off, taken off the air box, a couple screws. We're not even going to put that back in. And then we're going to, there we go. Get that out. We'll re-zip tie that later. And this carb is going to just pull right out. So it goes, where the
We got another one.
Jesus Christ. But I think that's where it ends. Let me check my lighting and ISO. I'm going to stop this and turn my ISO up. There you go.
Did you unhook it?
No.
So it wasn't even hooked.
Oh, lovely. I'm going to shut this down for 1 second so I can go change a setting. Turn up my ISO, make sure this isn't too shadowy in there. And we're back. All right, so that wasn't plugged in anything. So then, do you see anything that's not plugged? Anything that's not plugged in? Like,
I don't see anything yet.
well, maybe we don't need it technically. Is that your CDI box?
That is.
Yeah, that's easy to get to.
And that's how because I was looking up the de-restriction methods, and this is only 5.
Well, there's 5 wires, but you might have screwed up, Chief.
Well, not to fear, we could wire it in.
Well, I don't know what the difference is in wires. So if that looks.
I mean, it looks 5-pin to me.
Well, no, it's just one's empty. It's a 6-pin. They're just only using 5 wires.
Okay.
As opposed, let's get this other box over here. Yeah, you fucked up.
Great.
It's the wrong one.
But
Yeah, I don't know, and I don't know that the colors mean anything. I'm not trusting anything. That's fine. We'll do the carb for now, and we'll do the. You can put the new coil pack on. You can do everything because that's I got it as a kit, but technically the ignition coil and the plug are separate mods typically.
right.
So we'll just get a 6-1.
I mean,
It's not even worth sending it back because the whole kit was only like $14 anyway, you know. So it's not.
but there is schematics for this exact issue.
If you think you can rewire it without fucking up something in your wiring, I
Absolutely.
don't want to make more problems.
Oh.
All right, where's that Phillips screw? Let's loosen this, and then at this point, the carburetor should come right off. All right. So just pop that bad boy out. Now the only thing that's still in here is the fuel. When I pull this off, is that going to start dribbling fuel everywhere out of the tank? Or is it only coming out, like there's no petcock, right, where you can turn it on or off?
No, but you have your
I mean, we could just pinch off the hose.
right. You got some little channel locks or some like strong gator clips, but this drain right here will drain the fuel that's in the bowl.
Yeah, well, I've got this, so just let me get a zip tie, put it on my pliers.
That's a fancy little fuel pump, huh?
Well, it has a fuel pump.
We know, yeah. That's what this little thing right here is.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know, force, like goes off the pressure.
All right, so which hose goes? This is the hose we want. That's a drain. All right, so we're going to pinch that shut and zip tie the pliers. Too much. You want to be careful not to cut into it. All right, so that's good. And my camera's facing down. Let's face that up. Okay, so that's cool. So I am going to take off the fuel line and get some paper towels. There's gonna be gas coming out.
You know where my confusion was? It's a 6-pin plug, where I said it was a 5-pin.
Yeah.
But the guy where we got it from said it wasn't restricted, and now that I get what he was saying, in this loom right here there'll be a purple wire, and that's your restriction wire, and it's basically to electronically govern it or whatnot.
Yeah, so that's fine. So we'll use the box that it came with for now. Let's not cut the wiring up. If we want to get a different box, we'll get a different box. But let's just
All it consists of to redo it, we take a little screwdriver, pop these red retainers out, and then push this out, and then we can put the pins in. I mean,
that's true.
it's not that big a deal,
Yeah.
I mean, and then I don't know where I put my phone, but you know how today everything's online.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's just not going to fit like that.
Right, no, that, I don't think that would be too sturdy, but what I can do is take,
I say we just, if we're going to,
Oh.
let's just do it right. You know what? I don't want you to be driving down the road and then it just cuts out on you. So let's do the carburetor today. Let's do the coil pack and the plug.
okay,
So let me take off this. This is one of those things. That box is $12. It's not a big deal. What are
I
you
wonder
doing?
if I should put it on the rear stand. I didn't do that.
Ready? Yeah, honestly, I don't know if it makes it less stable or more. It wobbles around a little bit.
Is this your mic?
What's that?
Is this your mic?
Yeah, digital caliper. Alright, so that's pinched off. I should be able to just lift this up and out now.
Oh, that drain,
Yeah, which I bolted in place. So that
believe
needs it. I just need
that's 10 mil?
Nah, it's that hex bolt.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay, so the bottom of the frame has this kind of like built-in shock. Is that what that is?
I don't know what the hell that is, dude. Some kind of bushing. All right, let that gas pour out. And this is why we put the paper towels there. All right, so we got this out. Okay, so where is? Let's just get this out in the driveway. All right. All right, so the carburetor is out. Just clean everything up. And let's go get this fancy new carburetor. Did you ever find the wires for the plug for the stepper motor?
I did not.
That is so weird. All right. So this is going to go in like this.
Other way.
Oh, yeah,
Throttle cable on this side.
that's right. All right, so let's.
Yeah. It appears to be the same.
Needs to go in a little further.
Hey, did we back off of this?
I did. Yeah.
Okay, same.
So I think it just needs to pop in a little bit more. I think.
Yeah, you see those two little,
Nubbins.
I was gonna call them tits, but same thing. Does that seem to be enough?
I'm gonna find out. Just keep pushing
Okay.
in.
It's crazy because that's what holds the carb too.
Yeah. Okay, that's gonna go down here. So this needs to go. This is our drain. Make sure we screw that screw in all the way. All right, so that's gonna go back down here. And that is in all the way.
So that makes sense though. What?
What does?
I thought that this and this were tied in.
No.
But they're not.
No, this is something that electronically, this is supposed to plug in somewhere, and that is, you know, I don't know. I mean, we'll see if it runs without it. If it doesn't, I mean, it
mean,
didn't have it before,
Exactly.
so I'm not that concerned about it. All right, so this needs to come back, and we need to put that all back together. All right. This drain went to the old air box. So what I'm going to do is run that through here. If it is just a drain, if it's pulling air into the motor, then I'm just going to cap this off. We'll put a screw in the end.
We could put it under the frame anywhere. Is that
Yeah, if we're not going to use it because it's not connected to an air box, then we're going to want to cap it so that it doesn't. Yeah, so that way it doesn't suck any, because the exhaust is going to pull a slight vacuum, and you don't want it to pull any dust or anything in. Now, granted, it's going into the exhaust and not necessarily into the motor.
Would you like that?
Rubber plug, or just screw a screw into the end, but that could work.
We could pull the elbow out and just put that in.
Yeah, before we do that, I'm going to take the elbow off, because either way.
Now, should we just cut the hose closer over here and do that?
Sniffles.
It does have an oily residue,
But it doesn't stay oily.
Right. I mean, and it's coming out of the motor, so I'm pretty sure there will be a little residue.
I just want to see if it's pressure or vacuum.
Oh,
If it's
okay.
vacuum, then we can plug it. If it's pressure, and that cap will work just fine. Perfect. So let's set that aside.
We're on the need on those pliers.
They're holding the fuel line shut. So
No, mine are underneath the stand for the speaker. I need to put the acceleration. It's the beauty
It's
of having
underneath
that 100-pound scooter. You need the jack now?
all right, let me get the zip tie off.
Okay.
Where's my dikes?
Wherever they want to be.
All right, so get that on. Let's put this clip on. It's not a strong clip, but it is a clip.
Not a strong man.
All right, so we'll zip tie out this stuff all up nice and neat when we're done here. All right, so
Oops, sorry.
this goes here.
Trying to get that.
Yep.
There.
So this.
Almost there. Yep, almost there.
Eh. Okay, so
Make it look so easy.
all right. Now, right now, this is binding. It's not pulling it back all the way.
It's not pulling it back all the way, so then I need to back this up.
No, it's the tension here. Hold on.
Because I backed this all the way up right here, so I will.
No, it's physically. Hold on a second. It's physically binding. Here, when you turn the throttle, it's not freely.
Oh yeah, that's something in here. It's been doing that since the other day.
Okay, well, we're gonna need to fix that.
Yeah.
Some WD-4 here, get some grease up, motor oil up in there. Yeah, you want a little bit.
I noticed this is off center, so it might be that. I don't know. I wanted
Did
to
you
ask
drop it on this side?
on
That
this
might be.
side?
Yeah, why is that bent in?
No, it's because this is just a little ring that sits in there.
Yeah, but why is it crooked?
That is
That could be binding. on the
above my
bar.
pay grade.
Ah. Okay, so we've got that. Let's get your air filter in here.
Okay. And you said the one in
The one, the bluish. The one's got the bluish tinge to it. Has it got the hose clamp on the end? Perfect. Is it Phillips? Alright. So, alright, right away we need to move the throttle cable, yeah. All right, let's do something else here. Let's take this off. I want to reroute this. Come on, damn it. All right, let's see if we pop this off.
You see it kind of has something to do with, this is like a tin can right here.
Yeah, it's not that robust. All right, I can't get this fucking thing off of here.
Okay.
We need to get that out. I want to run it up over the top. There we go. I don't know why I can do it, but.
Dang. With the dang.
All right, let's put the filter on first so that we know where we have to route around it. That goes on like that, like a glove. All right, now this. So we want a little bit of slack. Okay, so that is connected, other than the throttle sticking a little bit, but you said that was already doing that.
Yeah.
All right, so at this point, we're going to want to start cranking it to pull fuel into, but you don't have your CDI box hooked up, so let's just temporarily throw this back in. Do one mod at a time,
Yeah.
so that if something goes wonky, we're not going, well, which one was it, you know?
Makes sense.
So, okay, so we got the CDI box in. Let's just do a quick check here. We need to figure out if this is a vacuum line, but I can do that while we're cranking it. If it's vacuum, we're going to plug it. If it's pressure, then we're just going to let it vent. All right, fuel's hooked up. This is hooked up. This we need to figure out, if anything, we need to do with it. If not, that's your spark plug right there. All right, cool. All right, let's start this bad bitch
Look,
up.
Sometimes I don't have to press the brake. Sometimes I do to turn the ignition.
All right, sucking fuel in. That's good. Keep going. That's vacuum. That's definitely pulling a vacuum, so I'm going to put that plug in while we're talking. Keep going. Oh, oh, oh. Starts right up and fucking purrs, dude. Huh.
Right.
I would let it keep running for a little bit.
Right. I was just.
Yeah. Yeah, so the bowl's still up and everything. You put a little zip tie on the. This was definitely a vacuum line. Oh no, wait, that's pressure. It's pressure and venting into the airbox before, so it wasn't plugged. So let's err on the side of caution and not plug it. I mean, it wasn't plugged before, so I was going to say, if we could get one of those little filters that's small enough, I think that would work. And that way, whatever's coming out of the motor, yeah, but see, to anchor it really well so that it's not. You can just tape the shit out of that, electrical tape, and then zip tie it somewhere so that it's not supporting the weight of that and it doesn't fall off. Tuck it up in here somewhere, zip tie it right to that. Alright, we'll make that work. So before it wasn't capped, it was going into the air box. So now it's got its own little air filter on it. So whether it's blowing out or sucking in, this is going to catch whatever it is. So let's see how it. I mean, it sounds healthy. It's idling. I mean, it seems like it started better than it did before.
Yeah.
Kind of just fired right up. It only struggled a little bit because of the not having any gas in the bolt. You know, it sucks through the system and get it fully filled. All right, so let's we'll shut this down now. Let's at least do the coil pack next. So now that we know that that's running fine, let's do the coil pack, and then we can always adjust this. We can get a new CDI. That's just a plug-in, right?
Right.
So that'll be an easy mod we can do later. Not a problem. So I'm going to put this bad boy back. And let's go get the coil pack. And the new plug. Then we're going to go off some sweet jumps. And we're going to do it, the two of us. I'll ride bitch. We'll go do a sweet, sweet jump. Yeah, we're not doing that. Lushimen. That is a name that instills confidence.
I was making a little bracket to attach.
To something.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Now back to coil pack.
Yeah, I would actually, let's tape this up. Get some
Okay.
electrical tape. And just make sure that doesn't come loose. Who texted me? All right, John Tilly's going to come over 12:30. Nick's coming over.
Now the dikes are they on? Oh.
Dude, you can't use that to
Yeah.
push off on.
I'm learning. Or am I?
I don't know.
I'm encountering the issue consistently.
All right, so John Tilly's coming over. Nick's coming over. Jake's coming over. Jonathan's coming over.
What are you dudes? Okay.
It's turned out to be a beautiful day. Another hour, these roads are going to be dry. It's going to be 76 degrees out. It's going to be the balls.
Okay.
All right, so let's tape this up.
So now on that CDI that you have on the wire, does it show like is this all the
Oh, they mean the coil pack.
Yes.
Yeah, give me 1 second. Let me just tape this up. Yeah, this tape job, like, this is things you do on a Chinese scooter. You would never do this on your Ducati. It's like, we got these parts laying around. Let's just throw that on there with some tape. That'll do it. All right, so you had a question about the. All right, so the spark plug. Did you already take the CD? Did I hand it?
No, it's right there.
Oh, why I can't see shit right in front. Dude, with colors like this, you know it's gotta be fast.
It looks fast, yeah. It just looks fast.
All right, so
Okay. Oh, that's what I wanted to see right there.
yeah, so this is just gonna plug in right there, and then run down to the spark plug. So we need to remove the spark plug, being careful not to over tighten, because I've broken off a spark plug in a motor before. It sucks.
Yeah. I had a Ford with a 5.4 that was horrible for you had to be precise.
Yeah, I mean, if we could try the coil with the existing plug that's in there. I mean, you got an NGK plug, but it's probably a single prong. This is a tri-prong, but I don't know that that really makes that much of a difference. But the coil itself is supposed to give it a stronger spark. So if you want to just plug it in and try it with the stock one for now, just do that and see if it even needs a better plug. Because these are 3-prong, but I don't know that these are actually like, you know, quality or
Right.
gapped properly. That's tedious, dude. It's like, why do they have to use a 3-inch long screw?
Right.
Like, Christ, you'd be sitting there turning that thing for the next 5 minutes. Here, what size is it? Let me use my ratchet one. 8?
10.
10?
Oh yeah. But that was the issue.
God
bulkiness.
damn it!
It'd have to be thin wall.
Ah, alright. Yeah. And my electric ratchet is too tall to get in there.
But I think to go back with it, since, you know, I was tuning this bad sucker, I was gonna put a zip tie.
Yeah, I would say let's do that. Jesus Christ.
Using this, I mean, $3 a week in gas is pretty nice, though.
Yeah. It won't seem so appealing when you're driving to work at 3 a.m. in the rain. Then you're gonna be like, you know what? I'd rather pay for more gas in a car.
I've done it, and that's just what I was thinking the whole time. This is cold. This is wet. Come on, summer. That's what I was thinking. My first day of my new job, it was raining, kind of chilly.
For fuck's sake, why is that screw so goddamn long? It doesn't need to be that long. There was no joke, like almost an inch of screw sticking out of the bottom. So you have to unthread it all that way in a super tight confined space.
Maybe the manufacturer's like, anything worth doing, it's worth overdoing.
Yes, it's that strong Chinese work ethic.
Yeah. To become a master, you must be able to unscrew too much screw.
That's my hot neighbor. Melissa. She's usually out there in like yoga shorts and a tank top in the summer. I think she knows that she's still got it.
But I think she houses a monkey. The other day, that's all I kept hearing was like, ooh, ah, ooh, ah.
All right, so just pushing against that.
They believe in putting filters on everything.
Yeah.
They're like, these scooters might go to California.
All right. This one's green. That one's black.
So is green like the universal good go color?
I guess. All right. So here's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna zip tie it right frickin' there. And run this down in here where the old one went. And that's all we need to do. And we need to change it at some point. Okay, and let's cut it, start it up again.
I noticed like a difference, with the acceleration.
Yeah. All right, so to warm up for a minute, let's zip tie these other things out of the way, because then you're going to need to put your seat and all that shit back on so you can go take it for a test drive. We also need to figure out the throttle, why it's sticking. At this point, we'll shut down. We're going to go ahead and just tidy this all back up, and then we'll be back. Just after a bunch of cursing and everything to get some of the plastic pieces to line up. And we've got everything back together. Seems to run fine. We'll get a better CDI box, but that'll be just plug and play. You can get to it through the floorboard. That's supposed to add some ignition advance and better spark or something like that. Is it not clicking?
Nope.
It's because of the damn... Oh wait, it should still be clicking. It's not binding.
Looks like it might be. I don't know. Maybe when I sit on it, it'll.
That is odd. So what the shit?
The plastic's a little higher.
Oh, go try riding it and just sit on it. See if with your weight on it, it shifts it back into place. Get 60 miles to the gallon on this hog.
Maybe not anymore.
Oh. That'll be easy enough to figure out. It's just something's out of alignment.
I know what it is.
And there he goes. All that performance. It's definitely a little louder. So?
Mid-range, way better. Acceleration up a hill, way better.
Yeah. All right.
Uh,
It sounds a little louder when you pull away.
yeah,
Yeah, just a little bit louder. It's not crazy loud, but
it feels stronger.
yeah. I mean, we gave it more air. We gave it more fuel. We gave it a better coil, so supposedly a better spark. And we didn't open up the exhaust that much, but we opened up the flow a little bit. And then, you put a regular free-flowing exhaust, and then the other piece, the CDI box, which is just plug and play. So we'll get those ordered. All you got to do is just figure out why your seat doesn't
I'm
latch.
gonna just back off them screws just a hair. The nuts.
Yeah, because it goes down. It just doesn't go down enough to click, unless that cable's binding. The way we had to push it to get it out of the way.
Oh yeah.
That
I wasn't able to get it up to top speed or nothing in the neighborhood.
Yeah, see here, it's not latching. That may be.
I'm looking for that 10mm. It looks high right here though.
Yeah. So it's just not getting pushed down far enough.
But I put some wires in a little bracket right there, and I think that's hitting in here.
Well, I'm gonna let you fix that. 'Cause
Yeah,
I gotta,
got it. Thanks.
I gotta get showered. My people will be here soon. So there's an episode of Dave's Garage with the scooter edition. What we should do later, we'll pull that carburetor apart over there and see what jets were in there.
It'd be good to know.
Yeah. And we'll replace the screws, and then, because at that point, if it's really the difference between them is just the jets, at that point you'd have a spare carburetor. Go get a different set of jets, and if something ever happened to that one, you already got one with the right jets ready to go. So, all right, that's all for Dave's Garage on this. We got a bunch of mods coming for this. We got brake pads coming for the front. We'll do how to change brake pads. We've got engine case covers tomorrow for some billet aluminum protection there. We got a K&N air filter, which means the seat's got to come off. This piece has to come off. And I think these have to come off. I don't know. It's a bunch of shit to get the tank up and off, so I'm going to have to dick around with that. That may be a little bit of a process. And what else? Got a camera mount. It's going to bolt right there. Might need to fabricate a little spacer. We'll do that. And there was a fourth thing. I don't know what it was. I don't know. I ordered a bunch of stuff for it, so we'll talk to you later. I think we're going to ride down to the Vampire Diaries set and go get some lunch at Mystic Grill. I started watching the show again. That's my comfort food, my comfort show. So anyway, we'll talk to everybody later. If you want to, we'll put some details on these. It's a TaoTao GY6. It's the model numbers are what they call it as a Gator 50 S3, but it's basically the same TaoTao, Kimco. It's all made by the same manufacturer, just resold under different names. That's the 50cc, and put links to the carburetors and the CDI box, the correct one for this, and yeah, that's how Robert's getting around right now. He's getting back on his feet, and then saving for a car and everything else. So, but this has been a good little bit of transportation, and when you have nice weather, it actually works out pretty well. You don't need insurance. You don't even need a driver's license. You just can't go on interstates or roads, I think, that have 50 mile an hour and up. But as long as you're on back roads, it's a cheap, easy way to get around, and there you go. So we're just trying to make it as quick as possible, just so we can keep up with traffic better and going up hills and stuff like that. It was a little gutless. So anyway, we'll talk to everybody later.